Enugu to Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring you news and information that will make your day. We are news. We are 24 News Radio TV.
A lovely morning to you. You're welcome to today in the dailies on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Nwafo. Yes, let's take you through the headlines for today. Tinubu renames Unimaid after Buhari. You can't spend billions to repair refineries, sell without full audit, ADC tells FG. FG disowns report linking UAE to diplomatic sanctions, reaffirms ties with Gulf nation. Tinubu presides over special FEC session in honor of Buhari. These and more will come your way in the course of the newspaper review this morning. Do stay tuned. Made after Buhari, he announced that the University of Maiduguri would be renamed in honor of the leader Muhammadu Buhari. The institution will now be known as Muhammadu Buhari University Maiduguri. Presiding over the session, President Tinubu delivered a stirring tribute celebrating Buhari's life as one defined by discipline, moral fortitude, and unwavering patriotism. He described Buhari not as a perfect man, no leader is, but as a good, decent, and honorable man, while acknowledging that Buhari's record, like all legacies, will be subject to debate. Tinubu insisted that the character he brought to public life, the moral force he carried, and the incorruptible standard he represented will not be forgotten. And still from the Vanguard newspaper, the African Democratic Congress ADC has called for a comprehensive audit of Nigeria's refineries following reports that nearly $18 billion has been spent by successive governments on rehabilitating the nation's three key refineries. In a statement issued by the party's National Publicity Secretary and coalition spokesperson, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC raised concerns about possible deception by the Tinubu administration, which recently committed over $2.8 billion to the refineries, billing them as non-functional. For the complete report, the Vanguard newspaper is your guide. And still from the Vanguard, its own report linking UAE to diplomatic sanctions. The Federal Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism, and Economy has issued a formal distancing itself from a recent publication alleging strained diplomatic relations between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates. In a statement signed by the minister, Barrister Hannatu Musa Musawa, the minister described the article published on July 12, 2025, entitled A Bitter Irony, UAE Sanction on African Trust after Africa backed with UN tourism and not reflective of the views of the ministry or the federal government of Nigeria. The ministry emphasized that Nigeria maintains mutually beneficial relationship, especially in the areas of tourism development and cultural. Article. The ministry also clarified that the federal government has not received any official notification regarding changes to the UAE's visa policy for Nigerian citizens. Yes, for the full report, the Vanguard newspaper is your guide. So go on a quick newspaper. Okay, over now to the Nigerian Tribune. Tinubu presides over special FEC session in honor of Bari. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Thursday presided over a solemn and emotional special session of the Federal Executive Council (FEC) meeting held in honor of late President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa. Delivering a moving tribute, Tinubu described Buhari's life as one marked by discipline, moral fortitude, and unwavering patriotism. For the complete report, the Nigerian Tribune is your guide, and of course, this particular story repeated itself in the Vanguard newspaper, so you can consult it. And still, okay, this one coming from the Sun. Fetullah not involved in terrorist activities in Nigeria. The chief imam of Lagos State University, Lasso Amidu Sani, has said that Fetullah is not involved in terrorist activities in Nigeria, but only focuses on humanitarian work. He spoke against the backdrop of a recent comment by the Turkish government urging Nigeria to be cautious of the group's activities. Turkish ambassador designate to Mehmet Boroy had on Tuesday allegedly described Fetullah as proscribed. Boroy alleged that the organization was using schools and health services as a front to expand its operation in Nigeria. For the full report, the Sun newspaper is your guide. And this one still coming from the Sun. Chinese President Xi Jinping writes Tinubu. Chinese President Xi Jinping has sent a condolence message to President Bola Tinubu following the demise of former President Muhammadu Buhari, whom President Buhari paid this to in April 2016 on behalf of the Chinese government and people, expressed condolences and extended sincere sympathy to the federal government, the people of Nigeria, and the family of Buhari. He stated that Buhari was an important leader of Nigeria, adding that he dedicated himself to exploring the development path suited to Nigeria's national conditions, made out contributions to national unity and progress, and was highly respected in the international community. And this one's still coming from the Sun. Kachiku coalition is to revive personal economies. Coalition gang up to revive personal economies. The 2023 presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress (ADC), Dumebi Kachiku, has fired a salvo at former Vice President Atiku Abubakar over the recent formation of a coalition. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja yesterday, Kachiku said Nigeria is not for a particular region. He said the articulate coalition is not a rescue movement for Nigerians hung up by old politicians that now economic gains. Kachiku said Atiku's belief that presidency is the birthright of the North is responsible for the current disintegration in the People's Democratic Party (PDP). And still coming from the Sun, Mba sent six commissioner nominees to Enugu Assembly as Chukwu resigns. Mba sent six commissioner nominees to Enugu Assembly as Chukwu resigns. Governor Peter Ndubisimba has nominated six new commissioners as part of the ongoing changes in the Enugu State Executive Council, even as the Commissioner for Investment and Industry, Adora Chukwu, has resigned from her position. In a statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Professor Chidenya, the Governor forwarded the names of the nominees to the Enugu State House of Assembly for confirmation. Those nominated include Benjamin Oko, Professor Benedict Okoli, Enyinna Umonna, Dr. Samuel Obuwobodo, Professor George Ugu, and Ben Collins Ndo. Governor Mba also approved the appointment of Dr. Godwin Anibu as the new head of service for the state, and according to the SSG, the appointment takes immediate effect. Yes, and that's for the complete report. The Sun newspaper is your guide, and we'll take another newspaper after this break.
From Abuja to Lagos, Sokoto to Port Harcourt, Enugu to Lorry, all of 4 News Radio TV. From
Okay, welcome back. And this, let's head over to the Guardian newspaper. Students' loan now fund flags 900% fee hike in 10 tertiary. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has raised concern that 10 tertiary institutions have hiked their institute fees by 900% for the current academic session. Particularly, the agency raised the alarm that the institution increased tuition fees from 200,000 naira to 2 million naira. Executive Director, Operations at the fund, Mustafa Iyal, stated this during the agency's media engagement in Abuja on Thursday. He, however, clarified that the fund system promptly flagged the applications and there were. He, however, did not reveal the names of the institutions involved. For the complete report, the Guardian newspaper is your guide. This one says Dana targets 18,000 electric cars yearly. As part of its commitment to a cleaner, smarter, Dana Motors Limited has a bold ambition to produce 18,000 electric vehicles yearly at its expanding assembly facility. The move reinforces the company's position at the forefront of sustainable mobility and green technology adoption in the country. Currently undergoing a major expansion, Dana Motors' ultra-modern assembly plant is being rooted to meet growing demand for eco-friendly vehicles in line with global automotive trends and Nigeria's national sustainability. With a strong legacy spanning over 2 decades, Dana Motors continues to demonstrate innovation and resilience in driving the transition to clean transportation in Africa's largest economy. For the full report, The Guardian is your guide. Then this one says ADC demands audits of refineries alleges waste of $20.8 billion. The African Democratic Congress ADC has called for a full-scale audit of Nigeria's state-owned refineries before any consideration of their sale, citing what it described as a reckless management of over $28 billion in public funds spent on rehabilitation without result. In a statement signed by the National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, the ADC expressed concern over recent disclosures by the government and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL), indicating that plans to fully privatize the nation's refinery. And still coming from the Guardian, police arrest man for impregnating 14-year-old daughter in Ibadan. The police have arrested in Ibadan Fumi for impregnating his 14-year-old daughter in Oluyole local government area of Oyo State. A government official confirmed to The Guardian yesterday that some individuals rescued the survivor and reported the case to a journalist. According to the source, the journalist reported the father to police officers who arrested the man and transferred the case to the State Criminal Department for investigation while the victim was taken to an orphanage home. Wow, that's really sad. I mean, a father raping his own daughter. How would he defend his daughter if the daughter gets raped by another person? Things are happening. I was people say interesting times, but this one is not an interesting time at all. Anyway, over to the leadership newspaper. The first one here says Emir of Duse seeks collaboration to tackle violence against women. The Emir of Duse in Jigawa State, Alhaji Muhammad Nuhu Sanusi, has asked political, religious leaders and the general public to help curb violence against women in Nigeria. He made the call when Development Research and Project Center, DRPC, and the Center for Islamic Civilization and Interfaith Dialogue, Bayero University, Kano, visited him in Duse under the Ford Foundation supported gender-based violence prevention project in northern Nigeria. He said growing menace of violence against humanity was a serious source of concern as the habit appears to be inhuman against religious doctrine and also good cultural discipline. For the full report, the leadership newspaper is your guide. Then from the Punch newspaper, 1 billion Africans at risk from cooking pollution, IEA. 1 billion Africans have to cook on open fires or with fuel that is hazardous to their health and the environment, and the International Energy Agency said on Friday the problem, which it reports says can be easily solved, causes as much greenhouse gas emission every year as the aviation industry. 2 billion people across the world still cook on open fires or with rudimentary stove fed by wood, charcoal, agricultural waste, or manure, the IEA report found. These fuel pollute the air both indoors and outdoors with fine particles that penetrate the lungs and cause multiple respiratory and cardiovascular problems. For the complete report, the Punch newspaper guide 1 billion Africans at skin pollution, IEA. And still coming from the Punch, police rescue 31 kids in Taraba, Edo. The Nigerian police force has announced the rescue of 31 kidnapped victims in two separate operations in Taraba and Edo states. And in a statement issued by the force officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi on Friday, in the statement, Adejobi said, in a sustained effort against banditry and kidnapping, the Nigerian state successfully rescuing 31 kidnapped victims in two separate coordinated operations. For the full report, the Vanguard newspaper made fraud allegations. Dangote holds fuel discount scheme amid the Dangote Petroleum Refinery and Petrochemicals has uncovered a fresh racket involving some of its affiliate marketers and strategic partners who have been diverting subsidized refined petroleum products for profit, prompting the suspension of the refinery's discounted fuel supply scheme. Investigations by the refinery revealed that certain marketers who were granted discounted products meant to ensure affordability and steady supply across retail outlets had been rerouting the loaded trucks to unregistered third-party marketers. For the full report, the Punch newspaper is your guide. It's funny how we are trying to find a way about, the high cost of fuel in the country, and then people that got it at a discounted rate are diverting it to somewhere else that it's actually continue to be on the high side. I think we are at some point we are the one doing ourselves, but I mean, I guess that's why part of one of the Nigerian campaigns, the change begins with you campaign some few years back, and I think it's really needed at this point in time because it doesn't make sense that someone is using his refinery to try to make our economy better, and then some people are diverting it to somewhere else when they got it at a discounted price. How then do we expect to grow from maybe good to better or even better to best? Anyway, I'm sure there'll be a way around that. Hope now that investigation is on the way. And still coming from the Punch newspaper, Nemasa shuts two fuel loading terminals over security breach. The Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has shut down Shell Plugs and TMDK terminals, both located in the Jegun Eba area of Lagos, for violating the International Ship and Port Facility Security Code. According to Thursday's release by the head of public relations at NEMASA, Osaje Edward, the move was part of the agency's role as the designated authority for implementing the ISPS code in Nigeria. The ISPS code, an amendment to the International Maritime Organization to enhance maritime and port security, particularly for facilities and in international. For the complete report, the Punch newspaper, the Massa shot two fuel loading terminals over security breach. And heading over to this day newspaper, 25% of First Hold Co's shares went to FG's trustee, not Otedola. Contrary to our Contrary to these days' earlier reports suggesting that Mr. Femi Otedola had increased his share stake in First Holdco PLC to 40% from his current 15%, emerging details have revealed that the shares were actually acquired by the trustee acting on behalf of the federal government. The trustee was set up by the Office of the Attorney General, working with the Central Bank of Nigeria, facilitated acquisition through a custodial arrangement. The shares are now with the trustee for the next 2 or 3 weeks when they will decide how to proceed and reach a strategic decision on what to do with the shares. And also look at FBN's plan for capital raise to meet CBN requirement. For the complete report, this day newspaper is your guidance. Coming from this day, Ogoni Group demands accountability for NNPCL's $300 million compensation. A group, Ogoni Liberation Initiative (OLI), has called for accountability for the $300 million compensation to Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) for the development of Ogoni land. President of OLI, Douglas Fabeke, made the demand at a special birthday party held in his honor in Port Harcourt yesterday. Fabeke said information available to the group showed that the money was through an out-of-court settlement. Several letters written by the group to our group managing director, GME, and management of NNPCL demanding explanation and the $300 million payment were ignored. For the complete report, this day newspaper is your guide. And this one says NECA commends FG's initiative to improve business climate, reduce costs of doing business. Nigeria Employers Consultative Association (NECA) has commended the federal government for initiating key reforms aimed at improving Nigeria's business climate and reducing the cost of doing business in the country. National President of NECA, Mr. Ifeanyi Okoye, in his welcome address during the 68th annual general meeting of the association held in Lagos on Wednesday, Okoye said the reforms included Nigeria's regulatory reform initiative hope by and a renewed hope by made in Nigeria. He said multiple taxation was a long-standing issue and a major concern that has undermined the private sector's competitiveness by increasing operational costs, inflating product prices, reducing sales, and ultimately eroding profit. For the full report, Thursday newspaper is your guide. And this one on the health, coming from the health. Malaria eradication, stakeholders divided over creation of new agency. Stakeholders in Nigeria's health sector on Thursday as canvassed in a bill currently before the Senate. The bill sponsored by Senator Ned Nwoko. Seeks to create a dedicated joining us. You're welcome, but would have to take a break. And when we return, we'll take some stories, foreign saying, and sports. Yes, and heading over to the foreign scene, Israel leveling thousands of Gaza civilian buildings in controlled demolition. Israel leveling thousands of Gaza civilian buildings in controlled demolitions. Israel has demolished thousands of buildings across Gaza since it withdrew from a ceasefire with Hamas in March, with entire towns and suburbs once home to 10,000s of people leveled in the past few weeks. Satellite images show massive amounts of destruction in several areas which Israel military commands claims to have under control operational control. For the full report, the BBC is your guide. And still coming from the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump says he's ordered the Justice Department to produce some additional documents related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Based on the ridiculous amounts of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have Trump now has Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. For the complete report, the BBC is to your guide. Trump orders officials to produce more Epstein documents, mounting pressures. And to the world of sports, Junior the Tigers face Argentina in Cleveland. No longer in the running for title contention, Nigeria's Junior the Tigers will face a date with Argentina on Friday, that's today, as the clarification rounds take place at the ongoing FIBA Under-19 Women's Basketball Cup in Zekia. The coach Juliana Akere led side were beaten 77-51 points, 77 to 51 against 51 points by Eastern European side Hungary in the round of 16 on Wednesday to exit the race to become world. However, there is still pride to play for when they take on the South Americans at the Starres Arena. Vodo right to finish in positions 9 to 16. And still coming from sports, Eco International Cup, Rivers, Ikorodu City in crucial battle to Rivers United and Ikorodu City will clash in a crucial Group A encounter today at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Oniko, as both teams battle for a place in Sunday's Eco International Cup final. The CAF Champions League representatives need only a draw to progress to the final, whilst hosts Ikorodu City require an outright victory to advance after managing 2-2 draw with Shooting Stars India opener. For the full report, that is where we'll be drawing the curtain in today's segment of the Today in the Dailies. Do stay tuned for more programs coming your way on 24 News Radio and Television. My name is Grace Nwafo. Don't forget to drink water, stay happy, and don't, you know, say good words. Be kind, be nice to people you come across. We need it at some point. We need, as this time in this country, the situation in the country now, we have to be nice to ourselves. Please be nice, drink water, and stay good. Have a lovely Friday.
From Abuja. Enugu, Ilorin, all across Nigeria, we bring information that will make